Not that rail cars are gender specific, mind you, but we are in the mail car, as in the Postal Service mail car. And we're at the Lake Superior Railroad Museum here in downtown Duluth. You know, we're talking about the travel season coming up and tourism popping up again here in the Northland because everybody wants to come to Duluth and the North Shore of Lake Superior and northern Wisconsin. Great destinations for your holiday travels. When you do put together your plans for the summer, please include coming and seeing the Lake Superior Railroad Museum here at the St. Louis County Depot in downtown Duluth. Or how about this? Take a ride on our North Shore Scenic Railroad. Tickets are already up for sale right now. You can make your plans, buy your tickets ahead of time, and know everything will be waiting for you when you get here. Just go to duluthtrains.com. That's duluthtrains.com. I recommend first class under the glass in our full-length dome car, Skyview. Take a look at it. I think you'll agree it's nice. Back to the mail car, though. And we're here where they sorted the mail as the train was moving up and down the tracks. And we've been getting some mail lately, thanks to you who have been writing in, because we've invited you to, with ideas for these behind-the-scenes tours. Mary, of course, gave us the idea to do the Thomas Hart Benton story. And now we get a letter from the mailbag, and here it is. This one comes from Matt. They call him Moose up in Thunder Bay in Ontario, Canada. He says, I've been watching your videos for 2 months now, and I had this question in my mind ever since I've started watching your videos. Do you guys have any foreign items in the collection? Well, we had to think about it a little bit, and we had to do a little bit of digging. But it turns out, Moose, you're right. And to start our tour of foreign objects in the museum, we'll take the furthest one from farthest away first by crossing the Atlantic Ocean. And the award for the item that traveled the furthest distance to make it into the collection of Lake Superior Railroad Museum is this trolley. 4,045 miles. It came from Lisbon, Portugal. And the reason it's in the collection is because this is very similar to the type of trolley cars used on Duluth streets at the turn of the century. And really only part of it was manufactured in Portugal. Here's what happened. They bought these trucks and motors from the Brill Manufacturing Company here in America, shipped them over to Lisbon, and the Lisbon Tramway Company built the car body similar to car bodies that would be on this kind of truck and wheel assembly anyway. It was brought back to the museum because, as I say, we run it in the summertime on our little narrow gauge railway out to the maintenance shop and back so people can get a trolley experience when they come to the North Shore Scenic Railroad. So, the furthest item in the collection from abroad. What is the biggest? For that, follow me. The largest foreign object in the collection is right down there, the 1109 baggage car. It was made in Canada, and I think it feels right at home with all the snow that we have. So we're not going to take you down there right now. We'll do a video on it later when, I don't know, maybe in July sometime. But in the meantime, here's some pictures of it back in the day. This car was built in 1958 by the National Steel Car Company up in Hamilton, Ontario. A company started in 1912, by the way, making train cars and train car accessories. Originally built for the Canadian National Railway as their number 9299 baggage car. That was back in 1958. In 1978, Canadian National sold it to Via when Via started taking over the passenger rail service north of the border, just like Amtrak did down here. Here's some pictures of the car. We use it as our baggage car. We also use it as our concession car on the North Shore Scenic Railroad, and it has a generator in it that provides the head-end power that powers the lights and air conditioning and heat in all the cars in the train. Now, for the smallest foreign-made object in the collection of the Lake Superior Railroad Museum, we have to go to China, the China car. As our closest neighbor, obviously you'd expect that a lot of the things in the collection come from Canada, just across the border north of us. And that includes, as I said, the largest foreign item in the collection, that baggage car we looked at, and now the smallest, which are also kind of the most fun, because they have to do with the elegant dining the railroads were famous for back in the Golden Era. And from the Canadian National Railway, we have several examples of some of their outstanding Elizabethan patterns from Queen Elizabeth era, 1923 to 1927. Other items in the collection from the Quetico collection of China on the CN, and that was used from 1954 to 1960. The Canadian Pacific did something different when they named their different China patterns that they used on their dining cars. They didn't call it the Queen Elizabeth pattern or anything like that. No, they named it after different cities along their route. Ottawa, Toronto, and parks like Jasper and the Quetico. These are great examples of different dining car China patterns and also different items used in service on the car. For instance, fine silver. Now, there's one other very hazy item in the collection that has a very small Canadian content to it, but let's go take a look at that. This final item in the collection has a kind of hazy connection to a foreign country. It's right out there. It's the 1115 coach. It's a Great Northern coach. It was made here in America, but it was on a train called the International. And the International, and here's its logo, went from Seattle across the Canadian border up to Vancouver. And it was a regular trip. In fact, it's still being offered today by Amtrak. So even though the car was made in America and spent its entire lifetime owned by a Great Northern Railway, which is an American company, every day it was in Canada. So that's kind of loose, but it does count. We also have the companion car to this, the 1116. So we have both of them on our North Shore Scenic Railroad trains in the summer. And there's one other connection, the Great Northern Railway. That was created and pioneered by James J. Hill, and where do you suppose he came from? That's right, he was a Canadian. So thanks, Moose, for that great letter. Why don't you write us with your ideas on an upcoming episode in these behind-the-scenes tour from the Lake Superior Railroad Museum in downtown Duluth. I really do hope you'll come and see us soon. In the meantime, let's take care of each other.